Welcome back to HS Design Studio. This video is going to be a little bit different in that we're not diving into kitchen design, we're not building something. I want to go into the nuts and bolts of kind of my tenet of design, my design style, and that is designing from the inside out. The whole premise of this design style or method is to design from the smallest item or aim or goal outward. So it really doesn't matter the size or the scale of the project. It can be applied to anything, whether it's a single room, a floor like this basement renovation, or to an entire house. Now, for the sake of this video and kind of walking through how the style works or how I put this method to work, I'm going to use the current renovation we're going through, and that is the basement here at the First Crack Farmhouse. In a previous video, I walked through the old layout that was down here and the changes that we made to it to get it to where it is now. If you happen to have missed that, I will throw it up in the top corner. It's worth a watch just to kind of give a brief overview of everything that went on. This video goes into far more depth in terms of how I made that layout happen. Just to quickly recap, the original layout of the basement looked something like this. A relatively open setup with a center mechanical room that houses our furnace, hot water tank, and all the components for our well system. Our main goals for this renovation, or changing up this floor plan, were to create spaces that we ultimately didn't have or spaces that we need. So the first is a home gym with a dedicated spot for our indoor bike trainers. Those trainers never really had a spot in our last house. They kind of bounced around from space to space. This time we want to give them a dedicated home. The second is a basement bedroom or home office or a flex space. It can sort of change with how we age in this house and on the properties. The third thing we want to do is add a maker space or a creative space to the basement. So we've got sewing machines, we've got a 3D printer, a few other creative tools, and we want to give them, again, a dedicated spot in the house where we can sit down and go to work on a project. The last major space we want in the basement is a TV area or a rec area. Again, somewhere the kids can come down, hang out, watch movies with their friends, and just sort of kick back and relax. And then the final goal, if we can get it into the basement, is to actually enlarge the mechanical room somewhat. So right now it's really tight. You can't access the furnace. Well, you can now, but that's because we changed it. You couldn't access the furnace. You couldn't access the hot water tank, which is probably why they were never changed out. So we wanted to make access to those elements as well as expand the room slightly for storage in the short term, but potentially because we might add a small in-home cistern down there in the future, and we wanted to make sure we just incorporated that now while we were renovating. I'm going into detail here because ultimately that detail is what drives the inside-out design method. I can use this list to help determine how we need to alter the floor plan to fit our needs. While I'm doing that, I'm also going to keep in mind a few other sort of tangential items, that being budget, the structural supports in the house because I'm not changing those, and the timeline of renovation. You know, we want to get this done relatively quickly so we can actually move into the space, get the moving bin off of our driveway, and that is definitely a fact. These are critical to any project, and you absolutely have to keep them in mind because the last thing you want to do is sit down and plan an unrealistic floor plan that you're never actually going to be able to achieve. Let's dive into the actual design, and I'm going to start with the makerspace because I knew where that was going right from the start, and that is in the very northeast corner of the home. The room currently houses the electrical panel and a slightly lower ceiling height than the rest of the basement. I'm not a fan of electrical panels in basement bedrooms, and the ceiling height was going to be a problem when it came to the home gym. Thus, makerspace. The challenge was now size. How big does that room need to be to fit everything we want to fit? So our family has 4 sewing machines, a 3D printer, a couple other creative tools. And I also have a work table that I want to put in this room down the road. So somewhere to actually work without having to move things out of the way. Now, I know the actual size I've measured of the sewing machine built into the desk because that one's fixed. I know the size of our work table, and I can make a few calculated guesses on the room required for the other machines as well as the 3D printer. All of this data combined together, now lets me start calculating what sort of square footage I need for the space itself. So after doing some math, we needed roughly 10 by 10, so about 100 square feet. And lucky for me, that's roughly what the room is now. It's closer to 11 by 11, so we'll have enough space without altering any of the walls, just the entrance. That was the easy part of figuring out this floor plan. The more difficult part now is figuring out where we're gonna put the gym, where the bedroom's gonna go, and where the TV or rec area is gonna finish. To make matters more complicated, or potentially easier, each remaining sort of, let's call it quadrant or section of the basement has an enlarged basement window, meaning the bedroom could actually go anywhere because you would still have egress. As I mentioned though a couple minutes ago, there is a main load-bearing beam right across the middle of the basement, and it has 2 open support posts on each side of the mechanical room. Ideally, I'd like to hide both those posts in a wall somewhere, meaning I can temporarily draw a wall right across the basement there as the next step in my floor plan, dividing the basement basically into 2 halves, if you will. So how did I decide on the location for each of these remaining rooms? Well, I dove back into the inside out method and I figured out what exactly is going in each of these rooms. First, the bedroom. It's gonna have a queen size bed in it. Our son's decided he is moving down here right when the basement is finished, and it measures 84 inches by 63 inches. So that number's fixed. I also know that I'm gonna be adding a wardrobe into this space to keep the room flexible, and it's gonna be about 4 feet wide and 2 feet deep. He has a dresser. It's also about 4 feet wide and 19 inches deep. So that gives me sort of the first components of the bedroom in terms of sizing and where they're gonna sit or where they could sit, and if there's gonna be enough room to move around them. In the gym, we have a wall-mounted squat rack, some plate weights, and some dumbbells. Ideally, it needs about a 10 foot by 10 foot area. That's what we had in our old gym in the garage that I built a few years ago, and it was a really nice, comfortable space. So we wanna keep that the same. The other thing I mentioned for the gym was having dedicated space for the bike trainers. Now, my wife has one, I have one, and then we've also got a spin bike that everybody else uses. Each one of those requires about a 3 foot by 5 foot area. We also want to put a TV in the bike area so you can watch something while you're riding, and you don't want your nose right against that screen. So doing a little bit of math, we need roughly 9 feet by 9 feet for that space. So let's call the whole gym area roughly 20 feet by 10 feet in size. Not a small area. Finally, the TV area. We're gonna reuse our current furniture because of, well, budget, and it's perfectly fine, and we don't need to buy new stuff at this point in time. But down the road, we might want to put a sectional in here because I find them really comfortable to lounge out and watch a movie on. So I did a little bit of research, figured out the average size of a sectional that would fit this space, and used that for my calculations. I also know the furniture we're going to be using for the media cabinet underneath the TV, and it only requires about 16 inches of depth along the one wall. Now that I have all of this data or all of this information, I can start taping out options on the floor itself and figuring out if this is going to fit in our current footprint. Maybe we don't even have the space to include everything, but at least I'm doing it from a point of knowledge. All right, if you're still with me, thanks for sticking around. I know this is just a lot of talking head information flying at you at a relatively quick pace. So that's part 1 of putting together the floor plan and the inside out method, is figuring out all of the items we want to include in our spaces, the rough size of the space we need to be, and trying to play with our current square footage to make all of that happen. But there's also another element or a few other elements to consider, and these are what's called ideals when renovating. So when it comes to this space, I'll use this as an example. We want to put a bedroom down here, and there is a basement full bath off to the one side. Well, I don't want to put the bedroom as far away from that bathroom as possible. You don't want people to have to be staying there, or in this case, my son staying there, and always have to walk through the TV area to go to the bathroom. It would just be nice if they were closer together. Another ideal to consider is I like coming down the stairs and entering the main rec area of the basement. It would be somewhat uncomfortable, or it would be cramped if you walk down the stairs directly into a wall because we cordon that area off for, say, a bedroom or a gym. Those ideals and all of the information we gathered about our various rooms are going to come together to form the ultimate floor plan or our ideal floor plan for this space. One thing to keep in mind is you're probably not going to make this perfect the first time round. So we walked the space for about 4 weeks, moving tape lines around, discussing different layouts before actually starting the renovation. In the end, we were only moving those lines maybe a few inches at a time, but those few inches can make or break a room. But with all of that being said, how did this actually end up looking as the new floor plan? The bedroom was placed just south of the makerspace, or just right of it on this plan. It fit the ideal location, near the bathroom, and this area has a beam and bulkhead, making it less than ideal for a home gym. It just doesn't have the height for it. We wanted the main rec area to be near the entrance to the basement, thus marking off the southwest corner or bottom right corner of this plan. Remember, we have the support posts to contend with as well, therefore that dividing wall is relatively fixed across the room. This left the southeast corner of the basement, or the top right-hand corner, for the gym, and only remaining question being, where does the dividing wall between the gym and the bedroom go? This is where those previous measurements come in. So we left enough room on the bedroom side to easily fit a queen size bed with room to walk around it, while making sure we had enough room on the gym side to fit that 9x9 area for the bike trainers. The final piece of the puzzle was the mechanical room, and I want to touch on this because I don't think you should overlook it in any renovation. If the kitchen is your heart of your home, consider your mechanical room the heartbeat and internal organs. It's what makes everything in your house function. Creating access to the furnace and hot water tank was straightforward. We removed a section of angled wall and replaced it with a door. Or at least it will be replaced with a door eventually. It's still open right now. Enlarging the space also became somewhat obvious. We had one final post to contend with, and it was in an awkward spot to just trim out and leave. Therefore, we extended the other angled wall to the post and then turned it 45 degrees to join the new bedroom wall. This gives us plenty of additional storage in the short term and room to add a cistern down the road if we want to. Whew, that was a lot. Hopefully you got something out of this, and hopefully you can take it and run with it in your own projects and plan your space in a really calculated, efficient way. Now, if you need a second set of eyes or you're looking for help, feel free to shoot me an email or shoot me a message on social media, and I'd be happy to chat with you or set up a video call about your project. To quickly recap how to make the inside out method work for you. Make a list of all your aims for the project. They can be as big or as small as you'd like. Determine what is going into each space and how big it is. Don't guess, actually measure. Use this to create an ideal square footage for each room. Simultaneously, determine the ideals for your home while keeping in mind traffic patterns and the natural flow of your space. Last but not least, determine any of your fixed aspects. This could be load-bearing walls, structural posts, doors or windows, anything you're not going to be moving. Now you can use all of this information to create a calculated floor plan that will actually work for you. Clear as mud? Great. If you're still here, thanks a ton for watching. I really do hope this information helps you in your next renovation or your next project. If you have any questions or comments, make sure to leave them down below. I'll try and get to all of them and facilitate a good discussion, because a good discussion will help everybody. Again, thanks a ton for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.